Good morning everyone, welcome to Wisdom Jobs. We are glad to welcome you into the Wisdom Jobs family. As you guys already know that wisdomjobs.com is an online platform for a job seeker and a HR, and you also know the competitor names like Naukri, Monster. There are a lot of job portals in the market and wisdomjobs.com is an advanced one, and we are going to discuss about those points in this induction so that you guys can get a clarity like what is the difference between other job portals and our job portal. And there are a lot of facilities available for the job seeker and also for the HR as well, and there are certain centuries which have started up because wisdomjobs.com is not only the platform, it was not even the other competitors were available from the starting. Now if a fresher is looking for a job, even if an experienced person looking for a job change, now there is a platform, digital platform available in the market. But was this platform available for your parents? Was it available for your grandparents? No. Then what was the option available for your parents? Because everyone parents was not working for the government sector. There are a lot of people who are working for the private sector. When you are in the childhood, when you are going to the school, your parents, they also might have worked for the private sector. So when they used to look for a job change, what was the option available? So you need to know when you work for the recruitment industry company, when you know about the job portals in the market, you have to know about the centuries, like how it got started and where it is running now. So wisdomjobs.com is an advanced platform. So when you enter into such kind of advanced technology, advanced platform, you have to know it from the starting itself, like how it got started and how it came to the fourth generation. There are a lot of other job portals as we told you, but those comes under the third generation job portal, and fourth generation job portal is wisdomjobs.com because of our unique skill test parameter Pragnya Meter, and that is why the reason we call it that fourth generation job portal. I'll explain you a bit more about it later part. And talking about the centuries, there are three different generations: first generation, second generation, third generation. Because whenever a product starts, by the time of after 3 months or 6 months, even if you are using one application, it will get updated after a week or so. So when we are into the market and working especially on technologies, it will get updated for every 2 months or 6 months. In the same way, there are a lot of companies who develop their services, who develop their products as well. So in the same way, recruitment industry have also changed a lot better than what it used to be. So in first generation, companies did not have any opportunity or they did not have any kind of ideology of hiring the process. There was no proper hiring process. There was no ideology of starting one, unique platform or a digital platform to hire the candidate, to call up the candidates for the interviews. But in first generation, companies used to hire only with the employee references. If they had any vacancy, then probably they used to just ask their existing employees to refer one of their friends or colleagues or something like that. They used to call for the interview without any option or without any proper resume screening or something. They used to hire the employees to reduce the risk, because there was no online digital platform and people were not aware of the internet services. People weren't able to use internet services much comparing to the now. So because of this, basically a good manpower gives the good productivity, and good productivity will give the good revenue. That revenue will make the business to expand the business. So because of this less manpower, companies weren't able to grow in the first generation. So there was no human resource management who can properly plan a hiring process. So these companies used to hire only existing employee references. Those people weren't able to do good, and these companies weren't able to grow. By end of the first generation, companies thought of finding a solution rather than depending on these only existing less manpower. They wanted to hire a proper productivity person. So by the time they found a solution which is offline advertisement, which is classifieds, as we know that still we can see some kind of classifieds in the newspapers. So that is how the second generation have started into the market, like advertising the requirements into the market in classifieds or maybe in newspapers or somewhere or the other, advertising and trying to make the market know that we have a vacancy in our company. That's how it got started in the second generation. And second generation solution have got also failed, because when you start a business, you will analyze everything. And when you invest something, you have to analyze everything. But here these companies, people did not do that. They haven't even have an idea that where should they publish, because if someone is looking for a job from way far location from your location of company, obviously he won't come up for the joining also, he won't even come for the interview. If you start publishing your requirements into the way far location beyond 40-50 kilometers, then probably that investment will not be usable for you. So basically analyzing the market and then going to one strong decision is major part, so that it can be worthwhile for it. So that's how it started being difficult for the management companies to hire the employees, because they have chosen the wrong locations to advertise the requirements. So that's how it got a bit difficult, because people also were not able to read the people. The people who were working for the private companies were not reading the newspapers properly, and that's the reason these classifieds were not usable for the companies. They were not being justified with the investment what company have made. If the company is investing 10 to 15,000, then probably the guy who's coming for the interview, like in a month, like people are coming, like 4 to 5 people are coming for the interview, which was not justifying the 10 to 15,000 of investment on the advertisement. Then by end of the second generation, companies had a meeting, then probably they thought of finding another solution, because they weren't able to grow again. By the time people have started using this internet service, like 15 days per hour, 30 days or something, everyone. So now in third generation, couple of years back, 10 to 15 years back, the software industry was also booming a bit more. That is where these companies have thought of building, why not we build an online platform which can be usable for a HR and also for a job seeker. That's how the job portals came into the market. Now we know that there are a lot of job portals in the market who provides an online service or online platform for the job seeker and a HR to meet up and to have a meet and to have a call conversation by sitting in home itself for a job seeker, and also by hiring a candidate by sitting in office itself for a HR. Now, as I told you, we call our portal wisdomjobs.com as the fourth generation job portal. As I told you, that Pragnya Meter test parameter is there, because like no other job portal provides you a skill assessment test, wisdomjobs.com do provides that with the Pragnya Meter online test parameter, where candidate skill set will be get checked online itself. When a candidate uploads his resume, when he gives his current CTC or maybe experience details, then obviously that system, the Pragnya Meter test parameter, will assess his complete profile. Then it will throw him 10 to 15 questionnaire related to his profile. Then that test will be popped up on his screen when he tries to move forward. If the guy who's having genuine experience would not mind going through one test which gives him a knowledge, the guy who's having the fake experience might not go through the test, but still some people will go. So it is not mandatory to go through the test, but if he does, then probably there will be a test parameter which is related to his profile itself. He can see 12 to 15 questions related to his profile. He can just select one out of 4 options where he'll get a score out of 15, 12, or out of 15, out of 15 out of 15 or something, which will be visible on his profile. So whenever the HR tries to get one candidate, or whenever the HR tries to hire one person related to your profile, if you have gone through with the test, then probably your profile will be on the top of the search criteria, because you have gone through with the test and your good score is visible on your profile. The guy who did not even go through with the test, his profile will be coming in the bottom of the list, even if he logged in yesterday also. So that's how it filters, and that's how it facilitates the HR and job seeker to meet a bit early. It reduces the HR time and also the job seeker's time, and that is why the reason we call it as fourth generation job portal. So now you know guys, like what is the reason that we call it as fourth generation job portal. So let us get into the picture of Wisdom IT policies and HR policies. What are all the stuff you need to follow when you get into the office, and what are all the regulations, and how the team handling, like who will be taking care of you, what is the hierarchy, and what are all the incentive structures which will be get explained by your manager as well. So let us go through with this basic stuff which is related to the company's policies and also for the HR policies. Talking about the life at Wisdom, as it is a kind of a snapshot, so let us talk about the policies and stuff like that. So first point would be open door policy and collaborative work culture, flexible work arrangements. These all stuff will explain you that how our culture would be in office. Basically, when we ask you to do some work, it won't happen directly like that. We have to provide you some facilities, like so peaceful environment and provided with this all kind of stuff which you needed, and that is what it says, that we will provide you everything what you needed to complete your work, obviously. So the next point is like first name familiarity. So no one would ask you to call someone, even if he's senior manager, we would not force you to call them as a sir or a ma'am. You can call them with their first name, Ravi, Feroz, Shiva, or anything with their first name. So next point would be constant motivation and support to improve performance. Means that if someone is not able to do good, if he's not able to prove himself, within a probation period or maybe within the limited time what he have to be, then probably it requires a motivation which will be given from his manager level position candidate or maybe from the HR side. So that is what it says. And dress code, formal obviously, Monday to Friday formal, Saturday it is semi-formal, which means not like completely torn jeans or something. You can wear semi-formal, and collar neck t-shirts are allowed, not like without collar neck t-shirts. Okay. Next points would be attendance, access control biometric machine, which means, as you guys know that you might have seen that initially when you are in training period, you will not be having an access to the biometric machine. Till the time you can write down your login and logout timings in the register which is there in the reception. After that, when you get your access for the door, then probably that is the attendance, where whatever the first thumb impression which you gives, that is the login time, and the last thumb impression which you gives, that is the logout time, because HR department or maybe your business manager will not be around you to check whether by what time you came or by what time you left. We basically follow the biometrics machine dump data, or whatever the thumb impression data that you give, it will come to us. So we will follow the same thing. So make sure that whenever you come to the office, whenever you leave from office, you are giving the thumb impression which shows your presence in office, and that is what it says. So ID card display mandatory and to be replaced upon loss, which means you guys know that how difficult it is enter into the building without an approval. So when you get that approval with the official ID card, make sure that you are carrying it. Even if you lose it also, make sure that you are intimating to the human resource department so that we can replace the card for you, and so that we can make sure that it is being kept aside. So talking about the further things, as you guys know, we work for Monday to Saturday, morning 9:30 to 7. We follow the corporate culture environment, so make sure that you are following the timings rather than splitting your having your own timing, logging by 10 o'clock or 10:30 on any day or any time. So there is official timing for every department, so you have to follow the same thing, which is morning 9:30 to 7, and there are some other departments who follows the 10 to 7:30. With the basically duration what we required is 9.5 hours, which we required to make it as a full day. So that is what the point is about. Let us talk about the break timings. Obviously, when you work for 9.5 hours, you might require a break for lunch hour or maybe for a break in the evening, so which will obviously be provided. So lunch hour break would be in between 12:30 to 3 p.m. Not mean by like you can leave by 12:30 and come back by 3 p.m. Not. It is in between. You can start every department have their own timing to go for lunch. You can just follow your department timings. Not like having your own timing. Every department have their own timing. You can just follow them to have a break. Half an hour for the lunch hour or maybe half an hour for the break timing. Otherwise, you can split into different ways. 45 minutes for the lunch hour or 15 minutes for the break timing. So total, you will have 1 hour of break to take. And then later you will have official permission to leave from the office twice in a month, 2 hours early before the login hours completes. Basically, guys, that you have to complete 9.5 hours to make it as a full day. But to leave from the office, if you had any emergency or maybe if you wanted to come a bit late to the office, you will have official permission. But however, these all approvals and leaves have to be taken after the approval of your manager. So when you wanted to take an early hour permission or maybe late login permission or maybe a half day leave or a full day leave, it can be taken after the approval of your manager itself. So we are talking about the early hour permission, which will not affect your attendance part or maybe which will not affect your salary part. So basically you will have 2 hours early hour permission, which is like you have to complete 7.5 hours duration. If you go lesser than that, then that will show the half day. So make sure that you are completing 7.5 hours to make it as early hour. It is up to you whether you wanted to take it in the morning or whether you wanted to take it in the evening. It is completely up to you, but you cannot go beyond twice in a month. If you do so, then probably that third early logout or late login would be an LOP for you. So the next part is, if you wanted to take a permission for a half day, you have to complete your 5 hours login hours duration to make it as half day. That is a half day permission approval, which obviously will be given from your manager. But the terms conditions which you need to follow is that you have to complete 5 hours duration, biometric login duration, as I already told you. So to make it as a full day, 9.5 hours. To make it early logout, 7.5 hours. To make it as half day, 5 hours. That's a simple criteria what we required. Other than that, if you go lesser than 5 hours, then obviously that is a LOP. You cannot even demand HR department to make it as full day or maybe half day or something. There is a attendance report in front of you itself. You will have a Wisdomjobs access in which you can check your complete attendance report of every month or maybe previous month, previous days. So make sure that you are looking after to your attendance. If you find any mistakes, please step up to the HR desk and let us know what is the mistake have gone. So because everything is accurate, if you find anything mistake, let us know. We'll see what can we do. So let's get into the next topic, leaves criteria. So here, people who are under the probation period, obviously the people who, even if an experienced person or a fresher who comes into the wisdomjobs.com family, then we will become a fresher for the company. So here you have to complete your probation period, which is 3 months from the date of joining. So you will be under the probation period for initial 3 months. In this probation period, you will not be allowed to take any leave. You are not eligible for the leaves. If you have any emergency leave, then that is a different case. If you take also, that means LOP, you will be get deducted with that LOP. So then after that, if you complete your probation period, then you will be eligible with 1 leave every month, 12 leaves per annum. Then apart from that, you will have public holidays 10. Then after that, you will have weekly offs as well. So obviously, as I told you, you also have a permissions to leave twice in a month. That is a different part again. Then the people who have completed their 3 months, obviously in the organization, they will follow the same policy. There is a unique policy which we basically applies in our office. When we pay on weekends, like basically salary will be calculated for 30 days. However, if you don't work on weekends like Saturday or maybe Sunday, if you don't work on that day also, even if there is any public holiday, you will be get paid for that. Why? Because there is a government policy that one relaxation day is mandatory for an employee if he is working for 6 days in a week. So that's a basic policy. When you work for 6 days in a week, you are getting paid for 7th day. When you don't work for 6 days, you cannot expect the pay for 7th day. So here the logical point what we follow is, if you wanted to take a leave on Saturday and on Monday, you will not be get paid for the Sunday. So Sunday will also be an LOP. If you have this, your leaves will be get considered. If you don't have leaves, then that Sunday will be an LOP. Because you cannot take the sandwich leave. We call it as sandwich leave. So you cannot keep the leaves as head and tail like Saturday and Monday. You can use your leave on Monday or maybe on Saturday, but not like head and tail like from Saturday to till Monday. So that won't work out. So that is the basic policy. I hope you guys have understood. So our leaves are to be approved by your reporting authority so that they can know what reason that you have taken the leave and by what time you will be coming back. So without approval, leaves are not entertainable. If you do so, necessary action will be taken. So make sure that whenever you have any planned leave, you are taking a leave permission 3 days before, at least with your manager, so that he can be intimated with it, he can plan things accordingly. We are done with the leaves policy. Later we have an ICICI account. Here we will provide an ICICI account for you. If you have your existing ICICI account, then probably we will ask you to just provide your account number. Otherwise, we will have bank account people coming in after a week or so. So whenever they come, we will ask you to come out. You can open your ICICI account. We will just collect it and we will attach it to the accounts department. You will get your salary into the bank account on or before 7th of every month. Your salary will be get credited into your account on or before of 7th. And you will also get your pay slips before your salary itself, so that you can get a clarity on the pay slip, what is the pay that you're gonna get. So now the next point would be, in case of unauthorized absent without prior data deductions will be there. Which means that, as I told you just few minutes back, if you are taking any leave without an approval of your manager, then you won't even be considered with the leaves basically, because there is a manager who is there to approve your leave. Without approval, if you take leave, you cannot even think that you already have 2 leaves and HR will consider that leaves, and you will obviously, without any taking an approval also, you are going for a leave. Then that won't happen. You will lose your leaves as well, and also you will get an LOP because you have not taken any approval. So if you continuously won't come to the office for 1 week or more than 4 days, working days, then probably you will be under the NCNS, no call no show, which we will get it from your business manager. So make sure that whenever you go for a leave, you are taking an approval, you are being intimated to the management, so that we can keep your things active. So the next point is incentives. Your incentives will be get paid along with the subsequent month salary, which means the current month whatever it is running, if you are eligible for the incentives, if you are supposed to get 10,000 incentive, that 10,000 incentives will come along with the next month salary, subsequent one, because there will be a reversal period. Obviously, as a salesperson you might have known, or maybe if you are a fresher then probably you will know from here onwards. So the incentives will be get paid along with the subsequent month salary. So that's a simple logic which will be carried forward by the every sales department. So moving on to the next part, salaries of employees going on leave for more than a week will be held with the company itself. If you are going for a leave for a longer leave for like more than a week or something, you have to come back to the office so that you can collect your salary as a check or maybe into the account. If by the salary date, if you are on a leave, even if you have taken a permission also, you won't get your salary into the account. Since you are on a longer leave, you have to come back to the office, report to the office, then you will get your salary. So that is the policy what is being followed. And there is another point which I would like to mention, that the people who will join on 25th of any month or maybe after 25th, only for those 4 days, 5 days salary will be added to the next month, which means 34 days salary will be given at a time, rather than calculating the salary for 4 to 5 days and paying and again 30 days salary. So it will be added to the next month. And talking about the next point, so as you guys can see the attachment and also the document that we have completed, we have some pictures and the videos which will be shown to you. So where we have pictures which will be visible as we are celebrating. So which shows you the 5 years completion of our organization, where we went to the resort and we had fun, and management have given the appraisals to the lot of people who contributed a lot of stuff to the organization. There was an award ceremony, there was a dance competition. So that's how the culture builds up. So that is what it shows about. And the next point, if we talk about, it is basically related to the sales department people. So the variable pay will be calculated by we are talking about the basically sales people who, so that they can get a clarity on the variable pay and the calculation part, how it will be get considered and stuff like that. So the first point would be for them is like variable pay will be calculated only by the end of the day of month end. So if today is 31st, tomorrow is 1st. Now your eligibility criteria for incentive is you have to reach at least 70% of your actual target. Now you are landing on 69%. Obviously you are not eligible for the incentive. Now to be eligible for the incentive you have to cross 70%. Now the customer is ready to pay the amount, but he is ready to pay tomorrow, not today. You cannot even ask your manager or someone else to add that payment today so that you can become eligible for the incentives. That literally won't happen. So make sure that you are reaching your targets and you are being eligible for the incentives before the month end itself. So because incentives will be calculated only by the month end itself. So that's the reason. So the next point is target will be get decided every month first itself by your manager. You will get to know once you hit the flow that your manager will start assigning you the targets by first itself. You will get to know about your targets on first of every month. This is especially for the sales people. As I told you, the incentives will be calculated by end of the month and will be given after the subsequent month. Positions of employees will be reviewed on a quarterly basis. Obviously, as you guys know, as an experienced person or a fresher, you will know now. So every salesperson or maybe any other department person, performance will be get reviewed after 3 months, after Q1, after Q3, after Q4. So after 3 months, 6 months and 9 months, so that it can showcase your performance, how far you are doing good, if you are lagging behind or what is the stuff, if you require the training or something. So that will be get checked, and if anything is required, if any help required from our end, we are glad to help you out. So that is which is taken care by the trainee manager and also with your business manager. Next point would be like position of employees reviewed, obviously, which we have discussed. Loss of pay should be limited to the 2 days in a month. More than that will be provided only on the basis of the documents, because you already know that you are eligible for 1 leave in a month. You already have weekends. You already have permissions to leave twice in a month. Apart from this all stuff, if you wanted to cross more than 2 LOPs in a month, then probably you have to provide a proper documents for that reason. Whether you are going for, if it is a medical emergency, you have to provide the medical documents. If you are going for a longer leave, because of any marriage or maybe because of any event, that documents have to be provided to the office so that we can accept, so that it can be kept with the management because which you went for the longer leave. And the next point is those achieving of minimum of 70% target will be eligible for the incentives, obviously, which I just told you. Incentives paid will be charged according to the change in designation. Obviously, when you get into the on floor, some people will perform extraordinary, some people will perform under what we basically expect also. So it depends on the achievement, depends on the experience, depends on the experience in wisdom. So it will fluctuate to the candidate, from the candidate to candidate. You cannot compare your targets, you cannot compare your incentive structure to the other employee. So please do not do that. So any employee failing to attain specified target continuously for 3 months will be called for an escalation. So basically, whenever we hire a person for our office, for our sales department, there will be an expectation, because for a fresher we will be offering something else, for an experienced person we will be offering a bit higher salary. Why will we do that? Because we expect that an experienced person can do the higher revenue. If that expectation is not reaching in this 3 months of duration also, then probably there is no point of hiring the person with a couple of 3 or 4 rounds and checking the documents. So basically we would expect the candidate to do bit more comparing to the other people who are freshers. So if that is not happening for continuously 3 months, not even being eligible for the minimum criteria, then probably we might not be able to continue. That escalation will be called for a discussion with the HR or a business manager. So now talking about the new joiners will be eligible for the incentives from the second month onwards. First month obviously you will be under the training period for a week, and then after you will be onboarding process. Then you might, even if you get assigned with the target also, it might not be work out for the initial month. So you will not be, even if you do any extraordinary sales on board, being on board also, you cannot demand for an incentive for that sale. So you will become eligible for the incentive from the second month onwards. So the next point is rewards and recognition. It is basically meant to appreciate you, so that if someone is doing good. Obviously you know that you will have a target being a salesperson. So when you have target, you have to achieve it. If someone is doing their work continuously in an extraordinary manner, then probably they should get some recognition, also rewards as well. So in sales department, if someone is, it's not like a fresher is doing or an experienced person. For wisdom, they are freshers. So if someone is doing extraordinary and reaching their target every month continuously, so if you have reached your target first month, then probably you will be recognized by viewing your profile, your achievement, your photograph on LCD screen which we have for a complete next month. And also people who complete their target for continuously 2 months, then also they'll get a gift worth of 450 rupees, and then also their photograph will also be shown in the LCD screen. And if someone is completing their 3 months of target continuously, they'll get a gift worth of 650 rupees apart from their photo visualization in the LCD screen. So that is how the recognition and rewards part will be. Alright, so basically if you do good, then probably you can earn good. That is what the basic policy what we follow. So if you continuously complete your target for 3 months, you can earn 250 rupees, 450 rupees, 650 rupees gift worth, which will make you to earn 1250 rupees apart from your incentives, stuff like that. And also you will get recognized by the other employees that you are a performer. So that's how it simplifies the process of implementing your own way of working. And talking about the appraisal part, obviously every management, every company will have the appraisal part. It depends, it fluctuates from the company to company how it will be followed. Here also we have an appraisal part. You will become eligible for the appraisal after the completion of your 6 months. This is the eligible criteria. It doesn't mean that you will get an appraisal after 6 months itself. After 6 months you will become eligible. Then whenever we have an appraisal discussion in the management, when management would like to go for appraisal discussion, initially we will be going on to 3 categories, 3 criteria to check in the candidate. One is discipline. Other than that, basically we will follow the disciplinary. Next part what we check is regularity to the office. Then we will go on to the performance. So these criteria will be get checked on the candidate. Feedbacks will be taken from the HR and also from the business manager, reporting managers. Then the decision will be taken by the CEO by looking after to your complete performance till date from the date of joining. So that is about the appraisal part. So let us move on to the next topic, which is also a part which you should not do in office. So till now we have told you about the things which have to be followed, but now we are discussing about the things which you should not do in office, like sharing official mail IDs to your personal mail IDs, dropping personal mails from your official mail IDs, making personal calls. Basically, you are not allowed to carry your mobiles into the office. That is what the policy is about. So we are gonna discuss about that later. So only you are allowed to carry your notepad and pen onto your desk. Nothing is allowed apart from this. If you have any food items, you can keep it in cafeteria. If you have any electronic gadgets, you can keep it in locker room which you have. You will be get authorized with one locker room. So where you can keep your bags, stuff like that. You have to get your own small lock so that you can lock your locker. So you can keep this with you itself. So basically, if you break that policy by bringing your mobile inside the office, there are some consequences. That consequences attachment is there in the Wisdomate. So I'll show you that later. So now talking about the further points where you should not do some things in the office, which are, as I told you, cannot use the official mails to send personal mails, and discussing regarding the salaries and incentives, leaves, trying to take the leave on emergency situations, which you should not do, and the use of official facilities, like whatever the leads or maybe whatever the facilities which are given from the office side, you cannot use it for your personal use. So that is what it meant to be. Accessing social network. You are not allowed to access social network from your desk or maybe from somewhere else in the office. That is a sin. You cannot use that. It could be also Facebook or YouTube, any other social media. If it is related to the work, then if you got approval from your manager, then that is something different. LinkedIn like that. But apart from that, a social media which is not usable for work, then that is not entertainable. And the next point is, as I told you, you cannot make personal calls even from the landline as well. Coming to work without ID card, obviously you guys know that how difficult it is to enter into the building without an access. When you get that access, make sure that you are carrying your ID card, keeping it in your neck itself rather than keeping it in pocket and roaming here and there. So make sure that please do carry your ID card, so that, because this complete building itself is a corporate building where you have to show that you are working for some company. You cannot just walk like that. So better if you carry your ID card that shows the professionalism, that shows that for which company you are working. So now we are going to talk about the Wisdomate, which is an internal portal through which you can check your attendance as well, and also there are some policies which are mentioned here, and also the sales and HR policies document which we have just discussed. These attachments will be there on the dashboard of this portal, where you can check every time. If you have any doubts or maybe if you wanted to go through with it once, this attachment will be there on the dashboard itself. You can go through with it, you can read it anytime by sitting on your desk itself. Now if you see the dashboard, here you can see the calendar where it shows some of the components which are related to the office itself, like if someone have their own birthday today or maybe tomorrow, and it shows the birthday symbol which shows that someone have their birthday on that particular day, and it also shows the public holiday. If we have, as per the schedule, if there is any public holiday tomorrow, it shows the public holiday name on that particular calendar. And also if someone have completed 1 year in our organization, or maybe 2 years or 3 years, 5 years, that work anniversary symbol will also be mentioned here. So basically this calendar is visible here to show you some of the components like birthdays, or maybe if you have applied for your leave, you can also apply your leaves here itself. So if you have applied, that leave symbol will also be reflectable here. So basically there are 4 components which are visible: birthdays, anniversaries, and leave request, and public holidays. This complete calendar is visible here to show you these components. Apart from that, if we talk about the mobile access policy, as we discussed a few minutes back, as I told you, there is an attachment on the dashboard itself. You can download that, you can go through with it to know the terms and conditions. Next point is the ESI benefits. Obviously the people whose salary is lesser than 21,000 are eligible for the ESI, which is mandatory by the government. So you will have an ESI deductions in your salary. So you can go through with this attachment to know what are the benefits that you can avail. So that's a one point. And the next point what we are gonna discuss about it is holidays of 2019, holidays of 2020. Like when you enter into the organization, when I told you that there are public holidays, you don't need to go through it every month and month. Here there is a yearly calendar where we have mentioned the complete year public holidays. You can just download that Excel format, you can know that by what date and by what day it is landing on. And the next point is recruitment incentive policy. The people who are eligible who are being hired for the recruitment department, they can just click on it and they can read the complete incentive policy structure so that they can get a clarity. And the next point is wisdomjobs.com official website link, because whenever you speak to a person, or maybe it could be a client, it could be a job seeker, it could be anyone. So when you represent yourself as a associate from wisdomjobs.com, you should be aware of the official websites of our company, so that you can be confident while explaining about our company. So it would be better if you go through with the company websites, so that it will give you a bit knowledge. And the next point is Pragnya Meter. As I told you in the initial stage of our discussion, there is a test parameter, pragnameter.com, so which assess the every job seeker's skill set. So this is what it is about, which assess the candidate skill set. It is on the dashboard itself. You can go through with it, you can click on it, it will give you a bit more knowledge, so that you can guide the customer, or maybe you can guide the person who is asking you. So there is another point, WeConnect. WeConnect is nothing but a voice over SMS service, or maybe text SMS service. voice.wisdomjobs.net is the link for that. You can check out the website where client is accessible to that. If he is logging into this website, then probably he can send the free SMS, not every time. Initially it will be given according to the client discussion with our manager. So it will be basically chargeable from our end. So by using this website, client can send the 100 or 1000 or 2000 SMS at a time, because there are a lot of companies who require the SMS service. Even nowadays also, if you just sit at your home, you will start getting the messages, promotional SMS 20% by saying that 20% discount or 30% discounts. There are a lot of food court companies or maybe other industry companies who use the SMS service. There is a lot of requirement in the market about the SMS service. Now we will sell that service to them according to their requirements, whether they require 5000 SMS for 3 months or 10,000 SMS for 6 months. It depends on the client needs, but this is what the website we have, WeConnect, voice.wisdomjobs.net, which is accessible to the client if they require. And the next point is Quick Source. We have a department called Quick Source, who also represents as a recruitment department, who is very usable for the hiring process, and who works for the different clients like HCL, Tech Mahindra, Capgemini, who is still running with us. And the next point is introduction to the wisdomjobs.com. As I have explained you about the recruitment industry and about the wisdomjobs.com, there is a lot more what I have told you. So if you click on it, there is a lot more mentioned. Better you go through with it, it will be very helpful for you in future. And next point is sales and HR policies. Obviously, as I told you, this is the attachment which we have just discussed, 7 to 8 pages of PPT where you can check out the company's policy, structure and everything. Okay, so now when we talk about the next point, there is an option of profile. So when we click on this profile option, you can view your own profile information, like your photograph, your date of joining, your employee code, to whom you are reporting, what is the manager name, your parents' details. So basically this complete profile information is accessible by you itself, and there is an option of professional documents, and there is an option of simple only documents option, where your bank account details, your government authorized ID proof details are mentioned, and also you can upload your Aadhaar and PAN card attachments, so that you can keep it with the company, rather than every time whenever we require, we ask you, or then you will submit it. Rather than doing that, you can just upload your soft copies here. It will be there itself, and also it is usable for you as well when you require. And talking about the next point, contact details. Here your complete address, whatever the joining format details have been completed, whatever the information that you have given in the joining format is form, that will be given updated here. Here you can check out that current address and the permanent address of yours, and the Gmail and the mobile number, your emergency contact details, official details. And you can keep your mobile number on private or public as well. In find employee option, we'll talk about it later, but you will have an option to change your privacy from public to private, or maybe from private to public. So next option you have in your profile, which is change your password. Basically, to log in into this Wisdomjobs, you would require your employee ID, which will be given after the completion of your training. When you get your employee ID, you will get access to the Wisdomjobs. You will be provided with your access. So login ID, employee ID is only the password. Obviously initially user ID will be the employee ID, and initially when you try to log in, employee ID will only be the password. After logging into it, you can change your password from this change password option, which will be a confidential one. And in future, if you lose your password, if you forgot your password, then obviously you can just click on the forgot password option. You will get an OTP to your personal mobile number. You can just enter it and you know the process, which is basic stuff. Next option which we have is leave request. As I told you initially that if you after taking an approval from your manager, you can apply for a leave in Wisdomjobs, so that HR can also be aware of it and your business manager can also be aware of it every time. So you can click on this leave request option, then you can select the particular dates from which date to which date you wanted to take leave, and what is the reason for taking leave, and when will you be rejoining the duties, and a mobile number where we can reach you. If you click on the submit button, then that will be a history, that will become a history. Then that shows the status, whether it is been approved by your manager or whether it is pending. So HR can also approve it and your business manager can also approve it. That is an official request for a leave when you orally take your permission. This is mandatory basically, so that HR can know it. And next point would be an option to check your attendance. Here when you click on the attendance point, you can view your complete month attendance starting from the first to till date. So when we talk about the login and logout time, as you guys know that 9:30 to 7 is the office timings. So your login time would be mentioned here on the bottom of the every date box, and the logout time will be mentioned here in the box. Your duration will be highlighted with the normal working day color. As I told you that there is a duration required for every category, like if you wanted half day 5 hours, when you wanted early hour permission 7.5 hours, to make it as a full day working, it will be a 9.5 hours. So when you don't finish a required timing, it will show you a different color. So here half day will be showing you a yellow color, orange, and if you have not completed 5 hours also, it will show you a red color. Even if you have completed 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours also, it will show you a red color because you did not completed the 5 hours minimum duration. So it will be an LOP for you. So make sure that you are completing the 5 hours duration to make it as half day. And to make it as early logout, you have to complete 7.5 hours. Otherwise, it will show you some other color and HR will start following the policy, and there might be a chance of getting the deductions. Now apart from that, if we talk about, you have to complete your 9.5 hours, which will be shown here. So make sure that you are following your timings. However, your manager will be looking after your timings. But still, if you take care of your timings, that will be great, so that we can reduce your deductions. So whenever we would request you to check your attendance at least immediately when you come to the office after 11:30. When your HR department will be updating your attendance, yesterday's attendance today after 11:30. So it is visible after 11:30 itself. You can check your attendance. If you find any mistake, make sure that you are updating us immediately. Even if you are on a leave, when you come back, check your attendance properly. If it is correct, then that's fine. If it is not correct, please drop us a mail so that we can look into it and we can do the needful. And if there is any mistake from your end, so that we can guide you. So that's how it is useful for both of us. And the next point is support request. Support request is basically usable to get help from the IT people or maybe from the HR department. If you do wanted to make any changes in the Wisdomjobs of your own profile, you can just keep a request for us by selecting the person name and department name here. You can keep a description regarding what you are dropping a request. However, the requests are given in the mail as well, but there are some minimum criteria. There are some basic stuff which requires to be get modified. If there is any modification required in the Wisdomjobs, or maybe there is any modification required for you in the documents wise, then probably you can just keep a request to us, and also for the IT department. So that will be raised as a ticket number. So it will also show us whether it got resolved or not. So which help us to keep a track. Now that is what meant for the support request. And then I guess we are done with the support request part. Then later after this we have find employee option. This unique find employee option will give you an access to see every other employee's basic information like employee ID, name, email ID, their mobile number if they kept it on public mode, or maybe and also their designation and department. You can just click on, you don't need to click on their profile or something, you just need to click on find employee option. If you wanted to drop a mail to someone, if you don't have their official mail ID, you can just click their name in the, you can just search their name in the search option. You will get their complete details like mail ID, designation, department. It facilitates you to do not go anywhere and get the details by sitting on desk itself, which will make your work a bit easy. So that is what it meant to be. If you, as I told you a few minutes back, that in profile option you have an access to keep your mobile number on private mode and public mode. If you keep your mobile number on private mode, then this is the lock symbol, how it shows to the other people. If you keep it on public mode, then probably your mobile number will be visible to everyone. So talking about the next point, training manuals. As it is mentioned here, that Pragnya Meter and WeConnect, which are already been discussed, India Job Seeker and India Job Employer, which means it is basically related to the only sales people. If you go through with it, it will give you a knowledge related to the job seeker, related to the employer as well. Every person have their own perception. So you will understand the way of, or maybe the perception of a job seeker as well. When you be acting as a job seeker, when you speak to the employer, or maybe when you act as an employer when you speak to the job seeker, there are some basic criteria which you need to follow, which you need to build yourself as. So this is the point which will help you out to speak to the job seeker while in call. So next point what we have is My Test. My Test is basically related to the product knowledge improvement, where you will be getting a test after Q1, after Q3, after Q2. So it is not mandatory, but if you get a test, better you just go through with it. You will just have to select one out of 4 options. If you click on it, you will get a good score. That score will be visible here in the My Results option, on what product you have given the test and what is the score, what is the level of test that you have given. So I guess we are done with the Wisdom at Access details. If you have any doubts, you can let us know so that we can give you a clarity. Thank you.